Buenas, damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Federico Hernandez, and welcome to the Rum Lab channel at Savvy. Super excited to be here with you guys here today. Actually, I'm doing this live stream the same with Danielle. We're doing this live streams, and pretty soon we're gonna head to the airport because we fly to Chicago for the Chicago Rum Festival, which is really cool. Anyways, first of all, thanks everyone for being here. Uh, if you're seeing us right now through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, come over to savvy.co, which is zavvy.co, where you can participate with our live stream directly. And you can participate with on the chat box where I saw Travelers Liquor. I see John already posting, which is great. And I'm sure a lot more people are going to start posting. If you post, let us know which city or state or country you're from during the live stream. If you have any questions, make sure where it says ask questions to put your comments. We'll love to, or ask questions, of course, during our live stream. Indeed, share the event. Try to invite as many people as possible. Let's make this group bigger. We're 49 people right now on Savvy, and I'm sure hundreds are going to join us through the different platforms, but it's great. Today's agenda, 30-40 minutes talking about the main topic, and then we'll go to our Q&A.
Great.
Our conversation or the subject today, right, is Costa Rica's natural aging and art of blending. And our guest is Daniel Mora, Global Brand Manager, right here joining us right now, who's a really good friend of mine, but at the same time, he's like a huge rum connoisseur. Danny, how are you doing today?
Hi, Faye. How are you? Good?
I'm doing well. This is so funny because we were walking we were talking before and we're introducing ourselves again. But great to be here. Danielle, just in case, we do have an interview in the Rum Lab about your career, but in a high level, tell us a little bit more about who you are and your involvement with the rum industry and with
Sure.
Rum Centenario.
So I'm Daniel Mora. I'm the global brand manager of Ron Centenario. I have been working with Ron Centenario for about 5 years now. Since then, I have been really enthusiastic about the rum industry, not only rum and actually spirits. I'm a mixologist as well. So I love doing cocktails and actually learn more about the trends and everything that is involved with all the spirits. Then in Centenario, well, I have been growing a lot. I started as a junior brand manager for some local brands. And then after 6 months, I grew to being the brand manager for Ron Centenario. And since then, I have been actually growing inside the company. So nowadays, manager for Ron Centenario, but also I'm the exports manager for Latin America, the United States, and Canada. So I'm really happy because we have been growing a lot with the brand through all Latin America and obviously Europe. But as of today, we are in 37 different countries, and being the United States the second most important country for our exports. So
That's great.
I'm an enthusiast about drinks. I'm an enthusiast about rum. I do collect and some rare bottles of rum through the world. So I have a huge collection here in my house, and I love rum. Actually, rum is for a day-to-day. It's a day-to-day drink. Rum is actually the best spirit we can find, and obviously, if it's rum Centennial, it's even better.
Well, today's topic right now is Costa Rica's natural aging and art of
Yes.
blending. We also, before we go into this topic, we want to share really quickly. Oh, wait, it's not coming out. I gotta fix this. Well, we actually launched today an infographic about
Yeah.
First Centenario 20-year anniversary, right?
Mhm. Yes,
Um,
that's your anniversary. Yes.
let me actually, in the meantime, as we go through, and actually what we can do, we'll talk about the slides a little bit later about that particular
Okay.
slide. And
Cool.
let's talk about and we'll focus about Costa Rica's natural aging and art of blending. First of
Yes.
all, why give us maybe like few reasons why Costa Rica is the ideal place to grow rum and produce rum.
Actually, it is really interesting. Why? Because, well, Costa Rica, as you know, it is a really small country. It is only 51,000 kilometers square. So even though we have only this small piece of land, we are the 6% of the biodiversity worldwide. So we are a huge lung for Latin America. We are actually a huge lung for America. And our micro weathers help us a lot to grow sugarcane, but also for, in our case, aging the rums. Why? Because in our case, Centenario, it is located in San Jose. San Jose is the capital of Costa Rica, but we are in a place that is called Curridabat. Curridabat is a district of San Jose that is 1,400 meters up the sea. So that helps us a lot in actually aging our rums. Why? Because in our facilities, we have two rivers surrounding our warehouse, and also we have a forest around our warehouse. So I have some data that America, it's between 12 to 14%. So that's actually a lot of rum that is actually going up to the angels uh, when it's actually evaporating. But in our case, our angel share is only 2 to 3%. So we actually are allowed to do a lot of artisanal aging of our rums because we do not lose that much amount of rums when aging in our warehouses. So it is really interesting. Why? Because when we put a 250 kilo barrel full up with a rum, we're not going to be losing actually any any centimeters at the end of the year because 2% is actually a really low percentage.
Yeah, very
And
low.
that's actually help us out that our rums are completely natural. We do not add any additives or special ingredients or any chips with flavors, and that help us out to have a long-lasting aging process in our warehouses in San Jose. So actually, the ideal weather also in Curridabat that is between 25 to 30, the most up the Celsius degrees in our warehouses help us that we have a special environment in our facilities in Curridabat. So that's how we actually created the statement H by Nature rum. Why? Because at the end we started looking out for all the benefits that the nature was given the brand as settled. Why? Because since the beginning, since 1969 that we started with our company, we knew that we had a special place. We knew that we have a special environment. But until 1981, that we decided to actually put rum or Costa Rican sugarcane spray into a barrel, we realized that we had a special and gold material there. Why? Because at the end, I forgot to send you a video, but in a video that I have in here, I can actually explain how, because of the rivers, the warehouse, it is it's completely fresh actually every single day. We do not used to use ACs. We do not need to have nothing like that in our warehouses because it actually has the special environment to age our rums.
Um, so you mentioned a couple. You mentioned that aging is on the way the warehouse is located around two rivers, a lot of forest.
Uh-huh.
So your aging process, your aging share is only. Sorry, it could be really high, but the way you guys control it is like 2 to 4%.
Exactly. That's it. And Latin America percentage is between 12 to 14%. So it's a
But
lot
how?
of the
Yeah, you can certainly that gives you a free. This gives you an open door to ace for so long.
exactly. That's the reason why we have 37 years in the market, and we have rums that we have them since 1969 aging. So actually, it's pretty amazing. Why? Because we do not use or we do not actually lose that rum in the barrels because the angel share. I'm sorry, it's really low. So it is a harmony with nature that make us actually unique.
Question for you, because I've actually gone to Costa Rica. Costa Rica, it's, in my opinion, you have the coast, which is very, like, of course, sea level, but then you have San Jose, and
Exactly.
most of this part of Costa Rica is
Mhm.
very high elevated,
Exactly.
a lot cooler
Mhm.
too. So I imagine the higher you are, the lower the
Exactly.
the humidity, the lower the angel share, right? So
Mhm.
are you, where you guys are located? Is it near the coast or in the center?
No, actually, we are in San Jose, in the
Are in
center.
San Jose?
And actually, we are not in the middle of San Jose. We are actually in the outsides of San Jose. And we are near to a province that is called Cartago. And Cartago is the highest city, sea level speaking, from Costa Rica. So actually, that helped us out a lot. Why? Because Cartago is around 1,800 meters, and Curridabat, where we're located, it's 1,400. And actually, Cartago, you go up much bigger because we have the biggest volcano there, and it's 3,000 meters. So we have that shadow as well. So actually, the benefit about being there, actually nearby a volcano, is that also our sand, or actually where we filtered our rooms, or actually the water that we use to make up our runs, are actually naturally filtered with volcanic sand. So there's a lot of things that goes out with the nature that help us out with aging our runs. So the first one, as I mentioned, is that we have two rivers bordering our warehouse. The second one is that we have Lake Cave Forest, because it's a mini forest surrounding our warehouse as well. Also, that our water is completely filtered with volcanic sand in a natural way. Also, that we have our own pond of water. So Doña Susana, our master blender, she actually can be uh, monitoring that pond of water. So we have the best pH, that we have the best water possible. So it's pretty amazing. Also, in our facilities, we have 44 different species of birds. So because of the work that we are actually helping nature to grow into the facilities in Centenario, and also obviously the people. So the warmth of people that works with Centenario, and having Doña Susana as our master blender, and having Abel, that is Doña Susana's right hand, and he has been working with Centenario for almost 45 years. So it's actually what make Centenario pretty unique.
Excellent. Okay, let's talk about um, let's talk about the, you mentioned sugarcane. So at the very beginning, Ron Centenario was not using local sugarcane, and then now it is. That's why, that was a comment that I want to clarify.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Why? Because, well, as you know, Costa Rica, it has a monopoly centralized by the government that is called FANEL, that is the Fábrica Nacional de Licores. So
Okay.
they're the ones who are actually distilling all the spirits in our country. So in certain occasions, we might have an issue. Why? Because they cannot provide us every single liter of spirit that we need. So Centenario is made out of molasses. Those molasses are grow or actually distilled by Fanal, and the sugarcane are from Guanacaste, that is the Pacific side, and then from Turrialba, that is the central side of Costa Rica. So we're gonna be having two different type of sugar canes. Why? Because one is 0 meters above the sea, and the other one is going to be around 1,800 meters up the sea. So that's actually a quite nice joint that we can have of our sugar cane. And actually, because of the position of Costa Rica, globally speaking, like in the globe, uh, the sugar cane in Costa Rica is a little bit more sweeter than in other places. Actually, that's what the infographic says about the 20th anniversary that we're going to be speaking later. So I can say that 90% of our alcohols are going to be from Costa Rica. And if because of certain occasion we cannot find the alcohol in Costa Rica, we can bring some alcohols from other countries. But everything is Costa Rica. That's the reason why we can say that we are Costa Rica's rum.
Interesting. Because don't get me wrong, many rums are many distilleries around the world
Exactly.
don't have access to molasses or homegrown
Yes.
molasses, so is everything is imported.
Sure. And actually, we have a huge impediment. Why? Because we cannot distill our rums. We need to buy to the government. So that's a whole different story in comparison to other rum brands.
Understood. And
What
it's really
we
interesting that the family or the company that owns Ron Centenario decided to do this venture. Uh, and it's great, right? Because Ron Centenario is the rum for the locals too.
exactly.
Everybody drinks Ron Centenario in Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's it is really interesting. Like if we go back to the Centenario story, we were not Centenario Internacional always. Why? Because in 1969 we grew as a company called Seagrams. So we were Seagrams of Costa Rica, and Seagrams is a huge liquor spirits company worldwide. So after a few things, Seagrams was sold, and they decided to sell us to Pernod Ricard. So we were Pernod Ricard of Costa Rica for a few long period of time. Actually, we were till 2002 Pernod Ricard. What happens in that moment of time? Pernod Ricard was receiving all the facilities worldwide. They were receiving facilities for whiskey. They were receiving facilities for cachaça. They were receiving facilities for rum. They were receiving facilities for vodka. So what happened was that in 1979 and the beginnings of the 80s, the government or the Scottish government gave a special permit to Costa Rica and to Brazil. And that special permit was for bottling the Scotch whiskey out of Scotland. So actually that helped us a lot. Why? Because when they actually chose Costa Rica as one of the hubs, we received like 1 million of barrels filled up with Scotch whiskies malts, and those malts were for really renowned brands that I'm not gonna be saying, but they were really renowned. So we kept all the barrels, and September 15th, 1981, we started actually filling those barrels with distilled from Costa Rica. So that's where we actually decided to start doing a premium rum in Costa Rica. And why I'm saying a premium rum? Because in Costa Rica, we also produce ron rico, that is a value priced rum. And we also used to have Palo Viejo, that is also a priced rum. So we still have them, and they are a key element in our portfolio. But we there actually decided to start creating our Ron Centenario. And a fun fact is that actually, when we saw all the history of our run, we said, and we start actually doing some investigations, and then we realized that we were the only rum brand in the world that are actually aging the rums in Scotch whiskey barrels. And that's actually the essence of Centenario. That's why brand, I say that even though we don't have all the distillation process from our side, we do have all the aging process from our side. And having barrels from space side, from highlands, from lowlands, from Isla, make our rum completely unique and special. And having all the natural ingredients, for saying it in some reason, actually help us a lot of having what we have today in our portfolio. Why? Because starting from our white rum, that is a 4 year old white rum, and ending up to our 30-year-old rum, all of our rums are going to be having those whiskish notes that actually makes Ron Centenario completely different. You are muted.
And we're talking about Scottish whiskeys.
Exactly, Scottish whiskies,
Yeah.
and really renowned the Scottish whiskies. And actually, those hints of a Scotch whiskey flavor in our rums make us completely different for mixologists, for sipping rums, and help us creating and innovating in the rum categories. Why? Because 2 years ago we launched in 1985, and it was a really Scotch whiskish rum, and it is really amazing. Why? Because it is a rum that is completely aged here in Costa Rica, but Doña Susana managed to create different recipes for for the different palates. Why? Because if we go back to our history, when we first started to export in back in 2007, I think we started with 20 years old. When we actually export the Fundación 20 years, we created for the German consumers. Why? Because our German distributor said, "Okay, guys, we need a premium rum. We have the 7 year old. It's amazing. We're selling it amazing, but we need something higher for Centenario." And then we created the 20 year old, and nowadays is the best seller of Centenario worldwide. And then the United States came and said, "Okay, guys, you created a 20 year old for Germany. We need a 25." So that's how so that's how 25 was born. And when we spoke to our distributor in the States, what they said was, we want a really spiced and dry rum. And when you try Centenary 25, if it is really spiced, and also it is a really dry rum if you compare it to other 25 rums out there. So actually, that's the beauty of Centenario, that we can create whatever the consumer wants and whatever the consumer needs.
And this is because you have access to so many different types of barrels that
Exactly.
were aging Scotch whiskey from different parts of Scotland, in different parts, from the Highlands, Lowlands, salty area, or not, like
Exactly.
Islay. But they all have this uniqueness, and
Exactly.
you have it in, and you actually can completely tell in Scotch. Um, to Let's talk about age statement a little bit.
Okay.
What can you tell us about the numbers that we see in
In
Ron
the bottle.
Centenario?
Okay, that's a really good question. Why? Because for the traditional aging system process, we're going to be having 4, 5, 7, 9, and 12. Those are going to be traditional aging system rums. And what does that mean? That means that they're going to be kept in the barrels for 4, 5, 7, 9, and 12 years. So what we do is that we're going to be aging the rums in our barrels. So they're going to be having a blending of the different barrels of the same age. For example, 12-year-old, it's going to be a combination of two different barrels. So it's going to be 50% barrels from Highlands and 50% barrels from Lowlands. So throughout all our rums in the standard aging rums, you're gonna be seeing that actually a comparison of rums, and then we're gonna be having the Soleira system rums, and
Question
actually
for you, Danny. Before I want to interrupt you before we go to Solera. You mentioned the 15, uh,
12.
the 12. Sorry. So you said 50% is from the Highland, 50%, but from the Lowlands.
Uh-huh.
But question: is it all 15 years, or like if it's like or is there a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and then it's all blended?
No, actually, we're gonna be having all the rums aged 12 years in those barrels, and then we blend them.
So
But what
only
we
12 years.
exactly only 12 years, and then same as for 7, same as for 5, same as for 4, and same as for 9. So we're gonna be having all the rums aged those years. So if we need to create a 9-year-old rum, we're gonna be taking all the barrels that are for 9 years aging, and we take them and Doña Susana create the blend, and then we bottle them. But all of them are going to be 9-year old or
Exactly.
12-year old. We're not going to be having a combination. Why? If it's a combination, it's not going to be the traditional aging system process. It's going to be changing to a Solera or a combination or a blend of rums between one age to another age.
Understood. And that is a age statement or regulation that you guys put yourself as a company
Yes.
on how you guys are going to do it. Okay,
Yeah,
understood.
actually, it's something that we established as a company. Why? Unfortunately, Costa Rica doesn't have a institute or a institution actually that can be with us in that in that process. So, as you know, we are the only rum in Costa Rica, and everything else that is created, spirit wise speaking, it has to be done by the government. So what we do is that for our consumers and for the respect that we have for our consumers, all of our rums are going to be created this way. And also, why? Because let's see if let's see, for example, the United States, it's going to be having some new regulations starting actually next month, I think. And the Europe Union actually started last May 2021 with new regulations. So they're actually protecting their own spirits. For example, the European Union, it's actually protecting the agricole rums. So they have specific rules that we need to comply to be able to sell our rums in the European Union, and then the United States is protecting the bourbons. So they are going to be having some rules that we need to comply as for selling the product in the United States. So
And which
because,
are?
huh?
Can you share some examples?
Yeah, sure. For example, because we don't have an institution that actually certified that our rums are 7, 9, 12 years old, we need to take out the word age out of the labels. Even though we know, and even though we have all the documentations that our rums are those aging, we need to take out the word the word years. So that's the reason why, as you saw in the infographic, Ron Centenario 20 Fundación is not longer called Ron Centenario 20 Years Fundación, so it's actually called Ron Centenario 20 Fundación Aniversario.
Interesting.
And that it's gonna be happening. And actually, we are changing all our labels for the United States this next coming May. So, for example, 5 years, it's not gonna be called anymore Ron Centenario 5 Añejo Selecto Years. It's gonna be called Ron Centenario Añejo Selecto 5 active volcanoes. Why? Because we're gonna be speaking then about our country. So
Exactly.
Ron Centenario, it's the Costa Rican rum, but for people to get to use to the new numbers, we're going to be talking about Costa Rica. So, for
And
example,
but behind the label, can you explain that?
yes, actually,
Can you explain the story, right?
it's going to be saying that, but we cannot actually put it in the front label, and
Understood.
that happened as to the European Union. We're going to put the years word. Why? Because they're protecting the agricole rums. So it is really interesting how everything is changing, and that's how we actually start doing the age by nature process. Why? Because with the age by nature process, we are also allowed to speak about what we have in Costa Rica. And actually, a great news for our company is that a month ago or month and a half ago, we received a special recognition of the government of Costa Rica that is called Essential Costa Rica. Essential Costa Rica is actually a stamp that is provided by the government here in Costa Rica that says that you are an authentic Costa Rican product. And we are the only liquor in Costa Rica that actually can have it in bottles, packagings, in all presentations that we have. And actually, that's also complying some different activities regarding sustainability, regarding social responsibility programs. So it is really nice for us to have it. Why? Because we know that we are doing the things that we are supposed to be doing to be a more sustainable product and for being actually 100% sustainable product. So as I was saying, for example, Ron Centenario 7 is not going to be called again Ron Centenario 7 Añejo Especial, sino it's going to be called Ron Centenario 7 Provinces. And it's going to be speaking about the 7 provinces of Costa Rica, and it's going to be having a map of Costa Rica in the back with all the symbols of our different provinces. So can people get to know more about Costa Rica and all the cultures and everything that we have here.
Understood. So going really quickly, if
Sure.
the Costa Rica government decides to do a division that certifies years, then the company will decide if not to yes or no to put then the year statement.
Yeah, we will do it because we can do it. Yeah.
Understood. So now, so we talked about the traditional, but let's go to the Soleira. And then should I share the slides? Is it,
Sure. Go ahead.
all right. Let me bring the slides here. Uh, So we talked about the
The traditional.
traditional
Yes.
aging system, right? And
Yes.
you, okay, now let's go to
La Solera.
the
And
Soleira.
that's a whole new different story. Why? Because Rembrandt's,
What's going on?
I can have it. I have it here if you want me to put it real quick.
Yeah, if you can upload it.
Okay. I'm just gonna share my screen real fast. Let me check. Let me see if you're seeing my screen right now.
Yes. There you go. 1 second. All right.
Okay, so you're saying it right now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our Solera. Our Solera, and going back to the European Union new laws, we cannot call Solera anymore to the rums in Latin America. Why? Because Solera can only be used for cognacs and brandies. So the Solera system for Centenario, it's going to be working the same as, but Doña Susana, since the beginning, she changed a little bit the Solera, the way it works. Why? Because we're going to be having the first layer, the second layer, and obviously the Solera. In our case, this Solera is obviously a illustrative image, but we have another layer. So we're gonna be having a first layer, second layer, third layer, and then in the bottom, the solera. So what we do in Centenario is that we're gonna be having a combination of rums, for example, for 20, from 6 to 20 years. So here, you're gonna be having a cascade that is gonna be actually moving the rums in an artisan way from one barrel to another one. So we're going to be having the mix of the different rums, and then we're going to be having the solera. So when we have the solera ready, what we do is that Doña Susana won't take the 100% of the solera, and she's only be bottling the 75% of it, and then the other 25% is going to be go back to the first layer of the pyramid. And
Oh, interesting.
why is that? Doña Susana call it, and that's how we have it in our new labels as for today. It is called continuous aging barrel process. It is a trademark for Ron Centenario. And what we do is that 25% is going to be having the impact in the newer rums or in the fresher rums for us to have the same organoleptic characteristics of our rums. So that allow us to keep on having a traditional aging system inside the solera, inside the soleras. So at the end, we're going to be combining the two different aging systems, and also allow us to keep our rums much longer time for the aging process, and also allow the brand to be completely natural. We do not add any caramels, we do not add any different flavors or chips of wood or chips of vanilla or chips of chocolate. We do not add anything into our rums. And that make us, and actually that made us that make Ron Centenario to be a really complete natural aging process. What you're gonna be having in the bottle is just the color from the barrel, the flavors from the barrel, and the smells from the barrel. So you're not gonna be having any artificial ingredients inside our rums. And that's how Doña Susana managed to have the same tasting notes and the same aromas for all of our premium rums. And it works the same for 20, it works the same for 25, and it works the same for 30. Back in the days, it used to work the same for 18 and for Centenario Real, that they're no longer in our portfolio because they were for special occasions. It was an in and out product.
So going and then do you have like different batches? Like this area is for the 20, this area over here is going to be for the 25, and this area over here is going to be for the 30?
Actually, the next live we should do it actually from our warehouse, because I can actually show it where we actually have everything divided. So
Oh,
the
okay,
first
great.
two lines back in it there back in the warehouse, you're gonna be having 5 actually different lines. So you're going to be having like 3 lines of Soleras for R20. Then you're going to be having one line, no, actually it's 2 lines of Soleras for R20, 2 lines of Soleras for R25, and then one side of Soleras for R30. And
But then
actually,
isn't the company limiting itself on how much bottles you can do per year then at the end?
actually, no, we have a really good amount of space for us to keep on growing worldwide. That's the reason
Understand.
why just last year we grew 45% in
Wow.
exports, and we actually opened 11 different countries, Latin America and European speaking.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing. Why? Because we are a young brand, because we are only 37 years as a rum brand, but we have the capacity to keep on growing and not touching any our recipes. As well, you know, Doña Susana is really strict. Doña Susana has a lot of experience, and what she says is, you can do whatever marketing wise speaking, but don't touch my rums. So yeah, Doña Susana is really strict about it, and as I always say, the Ron Centenario is actually Doña Susana's voice. So whatever we do with the brand, we need it. We need to do it in a conscious way. Why? Because we want to keep on doing the same aging process that we have, and we want to be the worldwide.
Does talking about so
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
okay, in, in regards to let's talk about going back to aging. You clarify that the company ages with X Scotch whiskey barrels.
Exactly.
Um, do is the company playing or trying also different barrels from different parts of the world, saying like X Porto,
Yeah,
etc.
we're gonna be having surprises, but yeah, Doña Susana is always innovating. Doña Susana, I don't know, like 4 years ago, we started using, and in a separate area in our warehouse, some wine barrels, and also using some other, for example, tequila barrels as well. So perhaps in a new, in an upcoming notice, we can actually say that we're going to be having a Ron Centenario aged in tequila barrels, or Ron Centenario aged in Jerez or Oporto, or some other whiskeys. But yeah, we're working. We love to innovate. We love to actually work out with our rums. That's actually how 1985 was born. Actually, 1985, our rum was born in 2020, and we actually decided to do a series of different 1985 for rum connoisseurs to actually collect those bottles. Why? Because the first one was actually only aged in Highland barrels, and this upcoming one that is it's we're launching it in September. It is gonna be a different barrel as well. So it is a collector's bottle, and it's gonna be selling worldwide. So it's quite amazing.
Excellent. All right, let's go. We already have three questions.
Okay, good.
Before we already talked about uh, the art of blending. You explain the different concepts of how you guys do blending. You clarify the year statements. You clarify how the Soleira process is, which is very cool. That you also have a trademark for the continuous process.
Conti- Continuous barrel aging process.
Yeah, which is super interesting because
It sounds like a riddle.
it sounds like no, but what I imagine is that 30 years from now, 10 years from now, those bottles are gonna have somewhere or another. Some barrels are gonna have 30, 50 years old blend somewhere or another, right?
As much as we can, as much years, as much aging we're gonna be having. So as of today, our barrels have 37 years. We have some that they used to be of Ronrico or Palo Viejo that we create those back in 1969. But yes, as much as we get old as a brand, we're gonna be having more aged rums.
So is Ron Rico and Palo Viejo still being done by you?
Yeah, Ronrico, not Palo Viejo, not longer, but yeah, Ronrico. Ronrico is one of the top brands here in Costa Rica as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and it's actually a top. I see it a lot in the wells and
yes,
throughout different markets.
yeah. So Ronrico is part of Centenario as well.
Excellent. Then all right, let's go over. Let me share the slides. Uh,
I was gonna show you the video that was talking
oh yeah,
about.
yeah. Let's go over the video.
Okay,
And then because that could pick up more questions too as well.
okay, yeah. So let me see, share screen, and then how can I share the audio?
It'll feed it immediately when you share
Okay,
screen.
cool, cool, great. So let me check. So let me see if you're seeing my screen now. You're seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is our secret. So that's our secret.
You just share your secret. No, no. uh, no, thank you very much. All right, so let me share here to the screen.
Let me
Well,
just move.
we
Okay.
also have
Sure.
uh
I'm not
the,
sharing, right?
no, you're not.
Okay, cool.
No. So this is actually the infographic that we just launched as well. The Ron Centenario 20 years fundación, but now it's changing, right?
Yeah, actually, it says Ron Centenario 20 Fundación, but it's going to be saying Ron Centenario Fundación 20 Anniversary.
20th anniversary.
Yeah, because that one says 20 years, but it's just changing the word years for anniversary. At the end, it is actually created because of the 20th anniversary of the brand back in 2005. So Ron Centenario was born in 1985, and Ron Centenario Fundación was born in 2005. So those are the 20 years.
Excellent. Well, anybody wants to download or obtain this infographic, you can go to therumlab.com and learn more about the new infographic that is just has been recently launched. All right.
Yes.
For more information, this is where you can go to roncentenario.com.
Yes.
The as well we like to say, we love to have people that become a patron through Savvy. For $5 a month you get access to over 500 videos, almost 500 videos, that we different live streams that we have done, um, and it's just amazing. Just like the video you're watching right now, we have hundreds, which are great. At the same time, we got noblecane.com, which is a store where we sell different swag from different licensing agreement that we have with different brands.
Coming soon, Centenario t-shirts.
Yes. These are our upcoming festivals for 2022. This weekend we got the Chicago Rum Festival, then the Puerto Rico National Rum Festival,
And I are coming to the airport right now.
and then New York Rum Festival, and then we're gonna go the West Coast tour, which is Seattle Rum Festival, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. 3 cities, 10 days, and I know a lot of people are signing up for it, which is really cool. All right, let's go to the questions.
Sure.
The first question that we have here is from Dick Barba. Does Centenario continue sourcing cask from Scottish industry?
Yes, actually, we are the strategic partner of Pernod Ricard here in Costa Rica. So, because of that, we have been having more barrels from whiskeys from Scotland. But that's actually a really good question. Why? Because barrels, they work completely different. When you speak about spirits barrels and when you talk about wine barrels, the usage of these barrels are even longer. Why? Because spirit barrels, when we put the spirit on it, it's going to be having between 55 to 65 ABV. When we talk about, for example, wines, it's only between 9 to 14%. So having that higher ABV allow us to use the barrels up to 8 times. So it is quite good.
Excellent. And most of the Scottish barrels were already aging for a long
Exactly.
period of time.
Exactly.
Uh, well, one of the famous brands from Pernod Ricard is Ballantine's
Uh-huh.
Scotch whiskey.
We might have some.
John Atkin is asking, is all the molasses made there in Costa Rica from cane that is grown there? And you already answered that question, right? So the majority of the molasses that the company uses
Are
is, or the government uses, is locally from the east or the west, right?
exactly. Actually, from the center or the east. Yes.
Center. Wait, Guanacaste is on the
No,
west.
actually, Guanacaste is in the Pacific, so it's going to be the west, and then Turrialba is in the middle of Costa Rica.
Okay, got it.
So it's center. Yes.
So no sugarcane is grown in Limon and all this area.
Actually, it does, but it's used for other purposes. But the limon, because of the weather and because it's Caribbean, it's a little bit more complicated. Actually, Turrialba is the border between the middle or the center of Costa Rica and Limon.
Excellent.
Yes.
John Atkin is also asking, I am sipping some Centenario Fundación 20 years now, which is
Nice.
great. I'm not getting any peaty Scotch whiskey notes in tasting. Are you still using the Scotch whiskey barrels today? And are they wet barrels when you barrel?
Okay, that's actually a really good question. Why? Because you're not going to be feeling pity in Centenario 20. Why? Because Centenario 20 is a combination of highlands and lowlands barrels. So if we see the characteristics of highlands, you're going to be having some fruity notes and obviously some caramel, vanilla, and some woody notes. But lowlands, it's going to be more smoky and it's going to be really woody. So those are like the characteristics of Centenario 20. And actually, because of the infographic that we just have with the Rum Lab, the aromas that you can actually feel with Centenario 20, it's going to be vanilla, some brandy, and fruits like red apple and cherry. And the flavor, it's going to be slightly sweet, and you're going to be finding some tones of vanilla and red fruits. And that's the reason why of the combination. Why? Because it's going to be 80% highlands and 20% lowlands barrels to create Ron Centenario 20.
Exactly. But is there an expression that you have that we might get some of the peatiness?
Yes, actually, Centenario 18 that is no longer available, but Centenario 25 that might have a little bit of that pittiness as well.
I like it. I like the 18.
Yeah, that's your favorite, actually.
It is my favorite. Uh, all right. No wonder. Now I know why. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. That actually, if you see the whole family of Centenario, the Centenario 18, it's actually the most different rum out of our family, and it is the most Scottish whiskey rum in our family as well.
Yeah, it is my favorite expression, and I try to be like, it's the one that I try to share the least in my house.
I'll be taking you one to Chicago.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right, Danny. Well, thank you very much. We don't have any more questions. This has been great. It's
Appreciate it.
been very informative. At the same time, quick. Quick. certainly I would love to create or schedule another live stream so we can go inside
The
the
warehouse,
aging warehouses and see the difference and how everything works, and understand that in
a
detail.
private tour for the Rum Lab.
John is excited because he's going to be working with you in New York City, is for one of the presentations.
Nice.
Thanks everyone who joined us. We really appreciate it. Another great day of to learn about rum, and stay safe, everyone.
Faye, thank you for the time. Thank you everyone for watching us, and see you soon, and see you in Chicago later on.
See you tomorrow.
See you.
All
Ciao.
right. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye. Ciao.